Please welcome. Gee, I haven't changed a bit, have I? Because this is not only the biggest and happiest birthday party for the great park, but it's my 93rd birthday today. That's why I can say I'm not only happy to be here, I'm happy to be anywhere. Actually, we have a pin on. I'm a member of the 55 class, and all the wonderful people who make up the cast of this party have pins from 5 to 55 and on down. Actually, mine should be earlier than that, because I stood here 2 years before there was anything here with Walt Disney, and two young men from Stanford University who've been given the job of finding the right place in Southern California to build a Disneyland. They selected this place, and you should have seen it. Orange groves, avocados, little places to live here and there, one road to Los Angeles, no freeway. I didn't have the heart to tell Walt that this was an idea that wasn't a keeper. It wouldn't have done any good, because everybody had been telling him that ever since he started talking about it. Even his brother Roy said, we can't afford it and you can't do it. But 2 years later, I was standing here, it was done, it was open, and we were ready to get going. And we were helped in that opening broadcast, which went all over the world, listened to and watched by about 81 million people, and covering the entire fairgrounds with no rehearsal, very little script, and all kinds of things happening that shouldn't have happened. But that's why Walt picked me to be the host, because he didn't want somebody that needed a script. And he knew that I could ad-lib no matter what happened, because he and I had spent a week together at the Olympic Winter Games up at Lake Tahoe, and he had put on a show every night for the athletes, just the athletes, and the officials, and I emceed it. And I learned how to swing with the unexpected. For instance, I didn't realize that as they sat around the table, before language would tell a joke, there'd be absolute silence. And the Spanish would laugh, and then the Greeks would laugh, and then the Germans would laugh, and then, of course, finally the English. And then, of course, knew that I'd opened 3 World's Fairs with all the unexpected things that can happen there. That was San Diego, that was Dallas, and that was San Francisco. And so we opened with Ron Reagan, my dear friend at that time, who was an actor, and Bob Cummings, who was a wonderful star and a great ad-libber, and a young fellow named Walt Disney. And the 3 covered this fair with no rehearsal on a day that required the unexpected to happen. It started with the temperature, 110 degrees. Then it started with the crowds, who had become very, very onerous, because the first day was an invitation day. It was a private, free party for 11,000 people. And you know how many crowded in that day? 30,000. There were more people climbing the walls, coming in through the cracks, swimming underground, faking tickets, riding on other people's tickets. And so by noon, all the food and beverages were gone. There were no water in the water faucets, because 2 weeks before, the plumbers told Walt Disney, you have your choice of, we can't do it. You can have one of 2 things. You can have water in the faucets, or you can have water in the toilets. It was going to be there eventually, of course, but Walt picked the toilets. And so there was no water. So there were a lot of people who were unhappy, but the cast is what made the difference. These wonderful kids who you'll see in costume here in a few minutes, all the way from Mickey and Minnie Mouse to all of the wonderful people that Disney made come to life on the screen, they pulled together and they made the crying children happy. They found the crying husbands happy. And the 400 lost children were found, 400 an hour. And they made it work. And so Black Sunday turned out to be okay in many ways, because our show was great and the cast were great. And later on, the press lived to come back and visit and rewrite their bad things that they said about the opening day. That's what happened. But in the meantime, the show went on, and millions of people came from all over the world to relive their childhood, to have the fun and games that a guy like Walt Disney could dream of. And I was part of that. It would be a part of my life I will never forget. And as I stand here today, I thank Walt Disney for introducing me to a new world, a world of children and games and fun that I have been using in my own show. Kids say the darndest things. You know, I interviewed 27,000 children. And those 27,000 children are now old men. They come up to me at airports and say, "Do you remember me, Mr. Linkletter? I was on your show when I was 4. But now today we have a great, great party for you. We have thousands of people lined up outside tonight, last night at midnight. People who were lined up. Let me see your hands. I don't know what you did for sleep, but wait till time. How many of you were here in 55? Let's see the hands. Here are the few. Oh, they're wrinkled. Oh, that's all right. Mine are too. And so here we are, back to celebrate once again the dreams of a man who was a great child until he died. And incidentally, yesterday a man walked up to me in the park and said, "Isn't it a shame that Walt Disney didn't live to see this?" And I said, "He did see this, and that's why it's here." That was the mind of a man who was dreaming and doing it. Well, now, I mentioned Ronald Reagan several times. He was a great help in the show. And, of course, he was here again in 1935 when they had a special party for the park. And in between, of course, he did something else. What was it now? Oh, he was president for 2 terms. And he was a great guy, and we have him on film, and we'll take a look and hear what he said in 1935, the 35th anniversary. Come on in, Ronnie.
It's an honor and a privilege to join with you as we rededicate one of America's treasures, a place that has captured the imagination and earned the affection of 4 generations of Americans, and a place that has served as host and goodwill ambassador to millions of visitors from abroad. They say that one man of vision can change the world. Well, maybe Walt Disney didn't alter the globe, but he did make one small section of it a happier, friendlier, and more civilized place. And while it's said that faith can move mountains, Walt never tried. Instead, he built his own mountains, giving the children of the world new summits in what would become a small world.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The show is about to start, and I think I better turn it over to Mickey. He's the guy that makes it all work.